this damn afternoon show. Let me tell you something. I love them. But they sure know how to piss me off when it comes to this quarterback. The nonsense that was pulled earlier today is just unbelievable. But here's the thing. And if you didn't hear them, they're throwing out this ridiculous concept that we overrated Jalen Hurts last year after winning the Super Bowl. After winning Super Bowl MVP, we overrated the quarterback. It makes me laugh. They're not the only two. Ike's not responsible. Jack and Spike. They're not the only two who feel that Jalen sometimes gets a little too much love for all the winning. In fact, there's one guy nationally who won't shut up about it, and that is our great friend, Chris Sims. So let's start off by listening to just hot garbage and vomit spewed by one Chris Sims.
But with him saying all that and all his skill set and the leadership and the mental strength and all that, is he perfect? No. There's a reason he's at number 10. And there's still flaws in his football game that need to be addressed, need to be fixed. And, you know, they win the game still with him not playing perfect. And this is where, again, I do the dirty work to go, let me decipher here, right? But there's no quarterback in football that has more advantages on the field at the position than Jalen Hurts.
He did the dirty work. Please, give me examples of what the hell you did. You did nothing. Here's the truth. Jalen Hurts absolutely has talent around him. The Eagles have such a strong foundation from ownership to GM to head coach to quarterback to offensive line to the coaching staff to the DBs, you name it. And that's okay to admit, but you also have to admit that this quarterback is insanely talented. He's winning double-digit games in a row, multiple years in a row, in the National Football League, with new coordinators, 24/7, new terms, a new offense, all the time, over and over and over and over again. It's absolutely out of this world. Yet all he does is show up and he elevates his locker room constantly. Because I always hear that. Oh, well, does he elevate his receivers? Yes, he elevates everybody because of the way that he shows up to the NovaCare complex to begin training camp in the weight room. You have to match his energy. You have to match the way he competes. You have to match the way he watches film, the way he puts in the time. If you don't match it, good luck. You won't survive. So yes, he does elevate. By his work ethic, by his dedication and his obsession with being the best he can be. He's not perfect. But to diminish his greatness is silly. You don't accidentally get to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years and, oh, by the way, perform at an electric clip in both of those Super Bowls. When the Chiefs won, you know what the talk around town was? Wow, Spags. Wow, that defense. Spags. What a game changer. What an elite weapon for that crew. Oh, wow. Hold on a second. You mean Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes had good talent on the defense with a great defensive coordinator? I'm stunned. I didn't know that was possible for other teams to have great talent around their guys, too. Tom Brady had Bill Belichick's defensive mind. Josh Allen has plenty of talent to win. Plenty of talent to win. He just doesn't. And I don't want to hear for a second that it's because Pat Mahomes is in the way. Beat him. Beat him. Jalen just did. Nick Sirianni just did. Badly, too. Embarrassed them. Pantsed them. on the national stage. So it's very possible to take them down. And Jalen was a massive part of that. And to diminish it, it bothers me. Because this is what it's all about. This is what you dream of. Having a Jalen Hurts. Being in a position to win the NFC every year because of the team and because of the importance of Jalen. Yeah, if you put Jalen on the Raiders, I heard this phone call earlier. If you put him on the Raiders, who are they? Not a good team. If you put Lamar on the Raiders, not a good team. You need talent to win a championship across the board. But what do you know? The year Josh Allen stopped turning the football over, people viewed him differently. Jalen's MO is he doesn't turn the rock over. That is a key component to being a star QB in this league. There were all those interceptions for years with Josh Allen. This year he cleaned it up. What do you know? The way that he's being talked about nationally. Look how electric he is when he doesn't turn the rock over. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Jalen doesn't turn it over. That's an important skill set. Turnovers happen, but he limits them when he's on the top of his game. He came into the league that way. So that's why in the early stages of this year, I kind of knew, all right, he'll clean that stuff up because I know what his bread and butter is. All right, let's listen to Spags. And 215-592-9494 if you do want to get in and talk a bit about Jalen Hurts. If you disagree with me and you feel he's just a guy and he's more of a product of what's surrounding him than him being a part of it, we'd love to hear from you. If you got brain cells and you feel Jalen's great, we'd love to hear from you too. But let's listen to Spags, who was on Jason Kelsey's pod, him and his brother, the New Heights pod, and he was talking about the difficulties of defending a Jalen Hurts when in a Super Bowl.
Third down, to me, I love third down. We take a lot of pride in third down. And to me, when you can win third down, you got a pretty good chance of keeping the points low. When you win third down on offense, you're going to score points. And when you add to defending on third down that the quarterback can pick it up with his legs for 7 or 8, that makes it really hard. Because there's certain things you can't do and open up a lane for Josh Allen to take off and get 8. Or, Jalen did it in the Super Bowl. I thought we had really good coverage. You get the perfect coverage, but he finds a pass rush lane and boom, he's a first down because he gets it with his legs. Those are the challenging guys.
Huh. Sounds like one of the sharpest defensive coordinators look at Jalen and say, man, he is tough to stop on third down. What do you know? What do you know? Yes, Saquon was a force. Yes, Saquon is an unbelievable talent. The Ravens have a great running back, too, and picked him up. Where's Lamar been in the postseason? And I like Lamar Jackson. I really do like Lamar Jackson. I love all these guys. But Joe Burrow, you can't say on one side of your mouth, Jalen only wins because he has a great offensive line, so you knock him. And then you look at Joe Burrow's status and you say, well, he can't win. He doesn't have an offensive line. Whoa. Which one is it? You disrespect Hurts for having an offensive line, yet Joe Burrow, who you deem is significantly better than Jalen because of his arm strength and how great he is, but he needs an offensive line. But when someone has an offensive line, you don't give them the credit because they have the offensive line. Doesn't make any sense. It ticks me off that we got to do this. Because you can see that part of the sustained success that we have here in Philly, it stems from great ownership, great GM, great head coach, great quarterback. He's a great quarterback, a phenomenal quarterback, at the top of the league quarterback. It is hard to describe why he's so electric with his presence, because it's rare, it's different, it's one of one, and it is difficult to describe it, but you know it when you see it. It's there. It's there. 215-592-9494. James in Pottstown. What's happening, James?
Yo, Brodes. I love the show, man.
Thank you.
I wish I knew more about hockey so I could puck it up with you, but on the Jalen front, preach, brother, preach.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand that to the eye, there's other quarterbacks that have maybe a special arm or someone who's willing to throw the football a billion times a game and it looks sexy on SportsCenter Top 10. My quarterback wins at a ridiculous rate with new coordinators every year, and they get to the NFC Championship game and host it and go to the bowl, and they go toe-to-toe with the Pat Mahomes, offensively speaking, and you're telling me the guy who gets the snaps doesn't have a part of that success at all? It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane, the discourse around him. But I loved what you said when you mentioned that he had a quality that's hard to even, pin down. He is, as far as I know, basically the face of the Jordan brand for the NFL, right? I don't know any other NFL players that are associated with the Jordan brand.
I'm sure there are, but there's no doubt that he's making a push with this, GQ stuff and the way that he represents himself off the field with the whole, his whole team is filled with women.
With them, Jay, recently?
Yeah, he sat down with Michael Jordan and picked his brain on how to win championships in back-to-back years.
Yeah, Phil Jackson said the biggest separator for Michael Jordan versus all of these other crazy talented people wasn't something like palming the ball, even though it was. It was that he was able to be completely present in the moment. And there's something to be said for that because, like you said, Jalen does the stuff that's not sexy. It's ugly sometimes. Sometimes he takes a sack when he shouldn't. But we've seen Lamar Jackson. We've seen Josh Allen blow coverages and just absolutely make a disaster out of what would have just been a 6-yard sack. And that's the stuff he doesn't do. And the quote, you play to win the game, period. That's it. End of discussion. And Jalen plays to win the game. That's all there is to it.
I know. And he's so tough, too, the way he runs. And, James, thank you so much for the call, where he just this big body, big legs, big thighs, and he's mowing people down when he's got, he like suffocates the ball close to his chest, and there's 2 or 3 guys that are trying to bring him down, and then he goes down, but it just takes maybe 2 guys to get him to the ground. Oh, it's unbelievable. And it's a big 3rd and 6, and he moves the chains. Everybody's hype, and he just does the point with his right hand. Yeah, I'm supposed to hate this? I'm supposed to hate this? He does a celebration where he folds his arms and he just looks up with all the swag in the world. We got the coolest guy on the planet, while Justin Herbert has cracked ribs every year and throws 5 interceptions in a playoff game. But I got to hear, because he's got a howitzer, that this guy is all of a sudden significantly better than Jalen Hurts. It's a flat-out disgrace. But here's what actually makes me feel happy about it. As much as he mentions rat poison, and he does because he was sort of taught that way by Nick Saban when he was at Alabama, rat poison is the media. Rat poison is all the headlines. Rat poison is all the bad talk about him. You're supposed to ignore it. And he says all the right things about ignoring it. He soaks it all in. So you know what? The more and more local and national media pour hatred towards him, and they claim that he can't do certain things on the field. As a Jalen guy, I hate it, but I love it. Because as he's walking into the Super Bowl, and he's looking up at the TV, and there's a question about him or Pat Mahomes or him and whatever quarterback they're going to be playing this upcoming year when they're back in the bowl, and he acknowledges it with this smile, knowing he's taking the field with a vengeance and he's going to dominate whatever defense is thrown his way. I mean, that's why we get the Jalen that we do. It's because he absorbs it. So if it keeps coming and it keeps happening, then by all means, sign me up. And we just overlook the fact that he sits down with Michael Jordan to pick his brain on how to win consistently after winning. He's sitting down with Michael Jordan to talk about how to keep your foot on the gas when you reach the highest part of the mountain. Yet I'm told he doesn't elevate his team. You don't think that that's something that hits a lot of the guys in the room? If A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Lane Johnson know that that's what their quarterback is doing during the offseason, that's what the quarterback is doing after winning a championship, you don't think that there's anything that gets installed in that locker room just by the knowledge of knowing that's how he handles himself? That's crazy to me if you think otherwise. This is perfect. This is everything you could ever dream of. A quarterback who's obsessed the way he's obsessed. A quarterback who can handle this media. How many quarterbacks have we seen crack because they just can't manage on a day-to-day basis the talk, the discourse, the debates, the Twitter polls, the phone calls, the you name it? This guy just goes to business. He listens to motivate himself. Not as if he listens the way I think Bryce Harper tuned in to listen to WIP. I don't think he listens to that, but he hears things. He doesn't block it all out. There's some that squeaks through. And okay, he uses that to motivate him. But at the end of the day, this guy is everything you dream of when it comes to a franchise quarterback. Luke, I'm going to take a deep breath because I'm closing my eyes and imagining the greatest franchise quarterback that we can have, and it's one Jalen Hurts, and he's here. So take it away, my friend. How you feeling about the QB?
Gotta say, hearing you wax poetic about Jalen Hurts was very nice. I mean, this dude, here's the thing. He is so focused and so driven in everything that he does. Like, he just has this mindset where he's going to be on 100 and he's going to give it his all in everything that he does. Like, there's been quarterbacks that just slack off. They just think, oh, I've done this. I'm going to take a break here. Oh, I don't need to do that. I have this covered. I don't need to do that. He doesn't think like that. Like, he wants to be better in everything that he does. Meeting with Michael Jordan after winning is insane. I mean, he didn't change the background on his phone because it's just like, it's just a background on the phone. I don't care. It motivates me. Like, it reminds me of that. He won the Super Bowl against the team that he already lost to, but he wants to win it again. And I bet he wants to beat them more again. And he did in this Super Bowl. He wanted to go back in there and put up more points. He is just so focused in everything. Everything. And this is the exact quarterback that we should want here. Like, and here's the thing about, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not this, that, and whatever the other thing. He's 26 years old. He's only 26.
26.
He's going to get better. He's this focused and this driven, and he has this team around him and this core around him, and just a player that he is, he's going to get better. Like, I don't understand the whole thing about how, he has pressure on him now to carry the team. No, he doesn't. In his mind, he has no pressure on him at all. Or he just wants to continue to prove himself. He won the Super Bowl. He got to the mountaintop. Now it's just Jalen being Jalen. It's just him doing what he has to do. He doesn't care about the outside noise. Like you said, I'm sure he hears it, but I said it earlier when I was on Fritz at 6, talking about would you trade Jalen Hurts for Joe Burrow right now? No, I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
I get Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. I think Joe Burrow gets a lot of breaks. I think he gets a lot of breaks to
he
where
starts out so slow, and then he's got
every single time.
And that rubbed me the wrong way when we did that with Doug. I said, at some point, Doug, you got to be comfortable being the top dog. You can't be doing this whole, we're 4 games back in the division, and we got to come crawling back with 6 games to go and come out of nowhere. No! But you know what? Those people will say, well, Joe Burrow doesn't have the line. But yet, when Jalen has the line, he gets knocked points for it.
Yeah, he gets penalized for it, but he's had a winning season every single year he's started. The very first year that he started, when the team was just a shell of what it is right now, they still went 9-8. No one had any expectations for the Eagles then in 2021. He still went 9-8. Yeah, we got slashed in the playoffs by the Bucs, but just to even be in the playoffs was surprising.
As a rookie.
We didn't know what to expect.
As a rookie.
Yeah,
and I
essentially a rookie, and he makes the playoffs with that team.
And I remember people destroying him because Todd Bowles put it on tape that he had trouble going to his left. And then he responded by going to the Super Bowl the next year and putting on a performance that was better individually than Pat Mahomes. After getting challenged by Todd Bowles and everyone mocking him that he couldn't go to his left, he took it to the Super Bowl the next year.
The thing about the Super Bowl then and the one this past year, 70 rushing yards in the one that we lost to the Chiefs, 72 rushing yards in this past one. Both records for a quarterback in a Super Bowl. We don't win that Super Bowl if he can't use his legs. If he can't escape the pocket, we do not win that Super Bowl. Like Spags just said, they had everything locked down on multiple third downs, and he made it happen with his legs. So the thing is, yes, are there some quarterbacks in the league that are better than him? Yes, but I would not trade Jalen Hurts for any of these quarterbacks. He fits the team perfectly. This is his team. His mindset and his focus and his drive is better than any other quarterback in the league. He just gets it done, and he knows he wants to continue to get it done. I'm so tired of just the constant Jalen Hurts talk when he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. He won us a Super Bowl. He's been to 2, and no one. It feels like he just doesn't get appreciated.
Now, I know we won 40-6 in the Super Bowl. Yet should we trade him for Joe Burrow? I love Jack. You know I love Jack. I love Ike. I love Spike. I love the afternoon show. I'm a mini part of what they get to do by joining them every Wednesday at 3:30 for Flyers and 50, and I truly do appreciate it and love it. But we got a championship caliber, Super Bowl champion quarterback here. Let's appreciate it. He's amazing.
He's been to 2 Super Bowls.
In 3 years.
In 3 years.
Yep.
He's been to 2 in 3 years.
With new coordinators every year.
Every single year. That's better than any quarterback in Eagles history, and we want to kick him to the curb. What are we talking about?
I know.
What are we talking about?
I
if you don't think he's good enough, again, if you think there's quarterbacks better, that's fine. If you don't think Jalen Hurts is good enough for this team, you are out of your mind.
I agree. All right, 215-592-9494. That's where we begin today's show. Would love to hear from you. If you're anti-Jalen, I would love to hear from you. If you're pro-Jalen and you're smart, I would love to hear from you. 215-592-9494. Coming up next, I'll share with you something that irritates me that I just got on Twitter. Someone's listening. They have a stance on Jalen and why he's as successful as he is here, and I don't like the reasoning because it's a slap in the face, and it's Chris Rock almost just getting backhanded. We don't do that here. It's Brodes. We're just getting started on 94 WIP. I'm just here to make sure I even out the disrespect with the respect. That's all. Somebody's got to do it. Someone's got to step up to the plate and stand up for the QB1 in town. The quarterback that wins Super Bowls. A Super Bowl, but been to 2 in 3 years and about to be in another one upcoming. I mean, the guy is just wired in a way that is truly rare. And I've said, and I stand by it, that Howie Roseman does have a Kobe-like mentality. And I can run through a million different examples of why I feel that way, but today's not the day for it. I've done it in the past. And I know there's not a lot of Kobe people out there, so you can't just hand that out as if it's candy on Halloween because, well, then it devalues it. But when you have sustained success like the Eagles seem to be in that spot right now as the gold standard, you have greatness in your building. And the way Jalen thinks as an athlete, as a competitor, as someone who's trying to maximize his skill set, he does have that Kobe work ethic with it. Think about it. When people say he doesn't have the arm that others do, when people say he doesn't have this and that and the other, okay, individually speaking, yeah, there may be other quarterbacks who are more of gunslingers, without a doubt, who may rack up more passing yards. Okay. So don't you think it's even more special that he does this with the unique skill set that he has? Yeah, he doesn't have the best arm in football history. He doesn't have certain attributes that you would deem mind-blowing. So the fact that he dominates the NFL as much as he dominates the NFL, and in my opinion, winning double-digit games in a row in 3 straight seasons is a form of that. Doesn't that make it more impressive? that he can keep up this style of winning, this level of dominance, this level of greatness with who he is? Doesn't it make everything about the way that he's wired that much more special and more intriguing? That he's this dedicated to make sure that every detail is ironed out the best way it can be so he can thrive? Now, I do think people overlook his arm. They make it seem like he's got a noodle. He makes some big-time throws and throws some big-time dimes right on the money to AJ, right on the money to Devontae, where nobody else can get it but Devontae doing a toe tap by the sideline. And they never get talked about. That never gets discussed. That never gets brought up. So his arm is still very, very good. Just compared to Brett Favre, maybe he could have done it a little bit better. It also comes with 7,583 interceptions.
I was going to say.
Of course.
It comes with throwing a pick at the end of the NFC Championship game. A field goal.
I would rather have 218 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and 0 interceptions than 325 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and an interception. I know it's not as sexy, but to win championships, you got to do things that aren't sexy consistently. You got to be fundamentally sound. Why do I think the Phillies suck? Because they are the extreme opposite of fundamentally sound. Running the bases, defensively, and hitting. They chase crap, and they're so hot and cold because they chase pitches down in a way that aren't even close to the strike zone. They don't know how to field, and they're not smart on the bases. They're not fundamentally sound. You got to do the things that are boring. You got to do the things that don't pop 24/7. You just got to make winning football plays. 9 out of 10 times, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. 215-592-9494. That's who does it. And that's who has the success as the gold standard of the NFL right now. It's the Philadelphia Eagles, the teamy quarterbacks. Surprise, surprise. Let's go to Matt and Manayunk. What's up, Matt?
Brodes.
How we doing?
Dude, I have never been more excited. I've been calling the radio for 20-plus years to this station. I have never been more excited than to be on your show with the voice of God and Luke in the background.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
For 40 minutes because people are waiting to talk to you at 12:05 a.m.
That's right.
Because that is where this show is. This radio station is headed. And Brodes, I just want to say, before I get in to the Jalen Hurts dominance, who is the best quarterback in the NFL, and there's no question, I would rather, if I'm drafting one quarterback, that's who I'm drafting. I just want to tell you that this show, your energy. Are you married, Brodes?
I am married, yes.
What is it like for your wife being married to a man who brings the juice 23 and a half hours a day, 7 days a week?
It's a great question.
How does she handle it?
It's a great question. It's probably a question that she should answer, but I'll tell you what, my studio that we built in our house is right underneath our bedroom, and if she's not sleeping by the time I start recording my post-game shows that I do on YouTube for Brodes Media, then she's not sleeping until I'm done. I'll tell you that for free.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
I know.
Yeah. Who are you? You're the man, dude.
Well, thank you.
Anyway, let's go back to Jalen. My pleasure. I mean it. I just drove around Wawa for 5 minutes because I didn't want to lose reception so I could get this call in. But anyway, first of all, everybody forgets. And also, when you're in line with Ike Reese and his view, you're always on the right side of reason. This is a quarterback who was the starting quarterback for Alabama. When it didn't work out at Alabama in the national championship game, where did he go? Oklahoma. People forget how incredibly talented this guy was as a younger athlete. He comes here, he doesn't turn it over. He has the greatest Super Bowl of all time, maybe next to Nick Foles and a couple other Super Bowls when we lose to Kansas City. Who were his running backs? Did he have Saquon Barkley? No. Was his defense stellar in any way? No, we forget that game like like it never happened. And all Philadelphia talks about is his one mistake before half in that fumble. It wasn't Sirianni not putting the pedal to the metal, which he did in the Super Bowl. He learned from his mistakes. This man makes defenses terrified because he's not McNabb. He will run when he needs to. We ran Andy Reid out of this town. I was one of the people that wanted him gone because he couldn't win the big game. I will never, ever turn on this guy, Jalen Hurts, who is a leader. He is Luke's voice in a human, and he's our franchise quarterback, bro.
Listen, you're right. I mean, you're just so right. And you know what cracks me up, Matt, about the turnover thing? When I lay out that he doesn't turn the football over, sometimes the response is, whoop-de-damn-do, good for him, right? And they say it sarcastically. Yet, to your point, when they bring up the turnover in the Super Bowl, that is the most detrimental piece to the puzzle ever. So why do you value that one turnover so much? And listen, it's a big turnover to happen, even though we responded right away by getting the team in the end zone, but he had that one turnover. They say it's so horrid that it now makes him a lesser quarterback, yet when he doesn't turn it over 98% of the time, that gives no value to them. It doesn't make any sense at all.
That's a really good point. It absolutely makes no sense. And not only, he's so calm. He's poised. This is something that you can't teach. In the biggest moment, he's never more calm. And there's so many games, like the Bills game, when he came back and he beat Josh Allen. And Josh Allen throws so many turnovers, but every single ranking has him higher. I don't understand, man. I hope to God he doesn't listen to all this. And maybe he's listening right now, bros. He's listening to you, me, Luke, Ike Reese, and that's all that matters because we are, and you know what, and your point about Howie being Kobe-esque, it doesn't matter what anybody in Philadelphia thinks. The people that run this franchise know what they have in Jalen Hurts. And that's all that matters.
You're right. And you're so right. Matt, thank you so much. Here's another point. You talk about how much you believe in Howie, how much he's turned the corner from where he was a few years back and the drafting of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor, and even prior to that with Chip Kelly throwing him away, and then he has to come back and fight for his life, essentially. And now we're in a position where, as a fan base, we basically trust every move Howie makes, right? And reasonably so. There's plenty of reasons why we do. The track record's great. He believes in Jalen. He believes in Jalen. You trust Howie with a lot of his decisions. You trust Howie in how he manipulates money. You trust Howie in the way that he makes trades. You trust Howie the way that he drafts. You trust Howie on the way that he signs free agents. You trust his ability to look at talent and deem what's right and what's wrong for the franchise. And he does it at an elite clip. And he feels Jalen's that dog. Jalen's that guy. Jalen's the franchise. That doesn't tell you something? Now, back to that Super Bowl thing. I looked it up because I actually see value in this. Unfortunately, fumbles happen. Unfortunately, turnovers do happen. And on the biggest stage, yeah, it stings. There was a fumble recovery that happened in Super Bowl 57 where the score then tied 14-14. Here's the next drive. 12 plays, 7 minutes and 20 seconds, 75 yards, drive the field. Eagles take the lead again, 21-14.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand it was a really rough sequence. But don't you learn something about who's in charge the second you respond to that adversity? Things are going to happen. I mean, in the NBA Finals, there's going to be a game of runs. You're going to be up 10, you're going to be down 2. Because the other team goes on a run. You're going to go on a run. They're going to go on a run. You're going to go on a run. They're going to go on a run. And you have to find a way within that game's personality to get it done. Things are going to happen that are bad in a game. There's no such thing as a perfect game. Unless in baseball you pitch a perfect game. There's things that are going to happen. What do you do when it happens? You drive the field 75 yards. You take 7 minutes and 20 seconds off the clock. In 12 plays. Not only that, your defense comes out. In 5 plays, the Chiefs go 9 yards and punt it back in 58 seconds. The Eagles then kick a field goal to go up 10 before half. That's how the Eagles offense responded. 2 drives, 10 points before half. That's how they responded. I get it. It was a big turnover. It was. But you responded with 10 points in your next 2 possessions. I look at that as a positive. I do.